Amy Denny, owner of Shine Light Therapy, certified Holy Yoga and trauma-sensitive Holy Yoga teacher, here with you. I truly believe that each one of us was born to shine. However, sometimes life circumstances dim our lights. However, with the right tools, resources, and encouragement, I believe that can be reversed. Welcome to Made to Shine, a movement to help you shine your light a little brighter. So today I am joined by my beautiful friend, Casandra McDonald, and she is going to chat with us today about time management. But I want to tell you a little bit about her first. First of all, she's amazing.
Thank you.
She's a life coach, but she has called herself a personal growth strategist. And this is a kind of an evolving title as she digs deep into her business. She's been doing all kinds of personal growth and development for years. She is an author of an amazing memoir. She has a second book that's in the works, and I bet you she's already got the third book kind of rolling around in her mind, because that is how she rolls.
Yeah.
And I just want to tell you that kind of her emphasis right now is she's helping women have a healthier relationship with themselves by breaking up with old patterns and beliefs. I had to write that down because it's so awesome. Breaking up with old patterns and beliefs. And I think one of those things is this time management issue. And Casandra, with COVID, and more schools are going remote to start their school year. My kids are probably going that direction right now. I think women especially, but families are really getting, they're burnt out already because of the pandemic, and it's getting harder. And I think time management is a big part of that. So I wanted to just talk to you just in general a little bit about, do you find with your clients that time management is something that is linked to anxiety and other types of mental health issues?
I believe there's some anxiety around the time thing because a lot of people have this belief that there's not enough time. And so whatever we feed our minds is what we continue to see manifest. So if you keep telling yourself, I don't have enough time, I don't have enough time, well, then when 10 o'clock at night rolls around, you tell yourself, I don't have enough time, you've affirmed that belief. And so one thing I try to help clients do is kind of create new beliefs of, we all have pockets of time in our day. And I teach this in my Finding Your Time course, where I break down how to find those pockets of time, because people would be surprised at little mindless activities that they engaged in throughout the day, that 5 minutes here, 10 minutes there, you add it up and you could have a little bulk of time for yourself.
That's an amazing tool to have right now, because we're all going to be looking for those pockets of time.
Yeah.
So anything that we can do to strategize and really hone in on our available time and get rid of some of those bad habits is going to be pretty impactful.
Yeah.
What are some ways that time management, what are some, do you have a really good story or something that's happened to you regarding time management that was like a huge lesson learned?
I think I was just thrusted in it. I got pregnant with my son at 19. I was a sophomore in college when I got pregnant with him. And I was on the track team. I had a scholarship and I was an honor student. And so I kind of had to figure it out. I always was an athlete and I always was an honor student. And I worked since I was probably like 14 years old. So I think I was naturally learning time management skills early in life because I had to be more responsible. But when I became a mom, that kind of thrusted me into a whole new realm, because I had to finish college. I was a mom, and I had to work. And so to be able to graduate my bachelor's on time with honors, with a baby on my hip while having a job, I think I had to narrow down time management pretty quickly.
Oh my goodness. I love you so much right now. I mean, I love you, but listen to this, guys. Are you listening to this? There are no excuses. Like
And I'm telling you, I have people ask me all the time, like, how did you do it? And the only thing that I can think of is I literally, like, every minute was accounted for. And if it wasn't towards my son or my job or my school, you just have to figure out what is worth your time and what's not worth your time. I remember not having cable, not watching much TV. And so little things like that, people don't really think about could actually be what I call time thieves, taking time from them.
That's amazing. So I think one of my favorite stories, I'm a huge proponent of Dave Ramsey. You know this about me, but one of the things that he shares, one of the baby steps, the first baby step is $1,000 in your savings account for like your emergency fund, your initial emergency fund. And he tells this story or shares this story that if you knew that there was a cure for something that your child was struggling with and you needed $1,000, you would get $1,000 so stinking fast.
Yeah.
And I think time can be that way too. Like when you're determined and your motivation is there, you will find the time. Do you think that's true? And what are your thoughts on that?
Oh, absolutely. When I wrote my first book, I was working a full-time job, still a single mom. I was working a part-time job, and I somehow was managing to train for half marathons and full marathon. Like I was just doing a lot. Everybody was like, Casandra, like, and it's funny, I called the course Finding Your Time because everyone kept asking me, how do you find the time? And really all I can think of is I found my time, you know, I figured out what did I want to do, what was bringing value to my life. And if it didn't bring value to my life, I didn't do it.
That's awesome. That reminds me of, I can't think of her name, but she has a book and apparently a Netflix show. It's the organizational method where you pick up each thing that you have in your house. Do you know? I can't think of her name, but same thing. You just look at it and decide, is it worth it to you? And it sounds like that's what you do with your time.
I can't hear you.
Oh, can you hear me? Oh, technical issues. Sorry about the technical issues. I think we're back with you. I don't know what's going on. So Casandra, can you tell me like how, I was just talking about the method of organizing and going through your home, asking what things bring you joy and what things don't. How mindful are you about the things on your calendar, and how do you go through that process?
I would say I look at my time the same way. Every Sunday I sit down and I map out my week. I schedule my breaks. I schedule my activity as far as being active. I even schedule date night for me and the mister. If we're going to do something with the boys, I write it down. If I want just free time where I'm not working, I'm not doing anything that requires like brain functioning of any sort, I write that down. And I feel like when I schedule my time like that, then I actually can fit more things in and I get more things accomplished, because it's just like budgeting. I look at budgeting your time like budgeting your money. If you don't tell your money where to go, it's going to run off with legs and go where it wants to go. Right. And our time is the same way. If you don't sit there and manage your time and budget it out how you want it to go, you'll look up and all this time has passed and you don't even know where it went. So we have to be intentional about how we're allocating our time and where our time's going to and how we're spending it.
I am taking notes because it's so good. I feel like I'm getting a whole class out of this, but I don't want you to give away too much, because I want people to take your course and really get mindful about it and take the time for yourself, for your priorities, and do this class. Let me think. Oh, one more thing before we go. I had kind of a crazy day today. Casandra already knows this because we had to put off our interview by 10 minutes. I was going to pick up my children, and honestly, I had a tight schedule anyway. I was kind of running tight, but I like to do that because I want all of my time. You know, I told the kids, be ready when I get there, and I'm just driving along, and I look out the corner of my eye, I see these guys in the ditch with a mower, don't think anything of it, and then like immediately there's this like blast and my whole window is shattered, and I'm just like driving down the road and I kind of freak out and I pull over, and I'm not in my car.
You're frozen.
Back with you again. Sorry, we're having some technical issues. Anyway, so there was a rock that flung off from this mower, shattered my window. I had to pull off the side of the road, sweep out my car. There was glass everywhere. I mean, so many tiny pieces of glass. I can't even believe it. I was like traumatized by the whole thing. I was shaking because I didn't know what happened. I'm patting myself down like, did I get shot? Is there a
Oh,
bomb?
wow.
I didn't know. Like, it was so bizarre. Anyway, so that put me off schedule. And then we had to, of course, get the truck taken in to have the glass fixed right away. And all of that delayed my day. Okay. All of that to say, crises happen sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you approach that with time? And do you schedule in enough time around your day for those things? Like I said, I keep my schedule tight. Sometimes that backfires. What do you do? What's your expert advice?
I feel like that's the one thing about life is you can't plan for, the uncertain and the inevitable. And I feel like that's one of those things where I feel like there's a reason things happen. And that's kind of where my faith kicks in and my whole belief of like God allows things to happen for a reason. And we never know what the reason is till later on. And that there's a piece to time management is also being flexible. And it's kind of counterproductive to managing your time, but you do want a certain amount of flexibility because you don't want to become so robotic to where it's like you're always checking off, did I do this, did I do that? And that's why I do things like scheduling out breaks and stuff throughout my days. I feel like maybe that's kind of where my flexibility comes in, is if something comes up, I have a block of time where I can adjust if needed to, or if I'm feeling tired, I need to take a nap, or whatever the case may be. So I think just working in some flexibility, but also life happens, and just kind of got to go with the flow sometimes.
Wow. So wise. I feel like I learned so much just chatting with you. Okay, so anything else in your coaching business that you feel like would be helpful in the areas of stress, anxiety that you want to mention, or any other resources that are worth sharing?
Yeah, when I talk about in my Finding Your Time course, it's not just necessarily a time management course where it's like, oh, map out what you want to do. I actually go into asking questions about like why you're doing what you're doing and how do you feel about it. And I think if people started practicing more awareness about how they feel in their body about doing certain things, that would strengthen their self-awareness, and that could actually help with coping with things like stress and anxiety. Because sometimes when you get yourself on like autopilot and all the crazy making of life, you don't even give yourself time to kind of check in and see like how are you feeling? Do I need to take a pause for the cause right now? And so that's kind of what I do in that, is I help people on that, like, how do you feel doing this thing and things like that. And so I think if people practice more self-awareness and knowing like how do you feel in your body, and then practicing some things like going for walks in nature has been scientifically proven to be very effective for mental health and combating things like depression and anxiety. There's another exercise I like to give clients where I tell them to go for a walk, pick a color, and count how many times they see that color. And it helps to slow your thoughts down, slow your breathing down, and get you more into the present moment so that you're not so frantic and caught up in your mind, and you can kind of get outside of your body and aware of what's happening around you.
Those are such good tips, not only for time management, but just for being mindful. Once you get into that habit and that pattern, you'll start slowing down in your relationships. When
Mm-hmm.
you drive places, I don't know if anybody else has ever experienced highway hypnosis, or that feeling that you're not even really present when you're driving, which is
Yeah.
dangerous. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, I love that. All right, so I'm going to sum up a few of my favorite points, guys, before we get off of here. But first, I want to ask Casandra to tell you a little bit more about her.
Uh-oh, we paused again.
Oh no. Oops. Are we there?
Yes, there we
Okay.
go.
All right. So Casandra, could you tell us about your Finding Your Time course? How much does that cost, and how people can find it and take it?
Yeah, so it's valued at $97.99, but it's actually on sale right now for $27.99, $27.99. And you can find it at www.cassandraaustin.com/finding your time course. And Cassandra is spelled with one S.
I will put the website in the notes or the description for this show, and also everywhere that we post it, so that you guys can have a direct link to that. $27.99. Guys, if you
It's
don't
kind of
do
like
it,
my way of like, hey, everybody, I know school's getting ready to start. Get
yes,
your time management together.
that is a gift. That is a gift. So don't pass that gift up. So just to sum up some of the things that Casandra said, I love the idea of affirming your beliefs about time, not talking
Mhm.
negatively about time, but framing things in a very positive light.
Mhm.
She talked about how every Sunday she sits down and maps out her week, scheduling out not only meetings and things, but breaks
Mhm.
and dates with her husband and time
Mhm.
with her family. But also those breaks, turns out, helps with flexibility. So make sure you do have breaks in your schedule. Hello, Amy. Have some breaks in there so that you don't feel so rushed and you've got a little flexibility. So when life happens, and sometimes life happens to the degree that your entire day just kind of gets put in the wastebasket. That's life. So
Yeah.
beat yourself up about it.
Yeah.
Um, Budgeting your time, be very intentional with your time, protect it. It's a resource,
Yeah.
just like you are. And then finally, she talked about making sure that your time and the things that you're doing with your time have a mind-body connection. So how you're feeling about the ways you're spending your time are help
Yes.
you be more effective and present in your time.
Yes. Oh, I love that.
Awesome. So amazing. All right, guys, well, get on that link and get this course right away. I know you're going to love it, and you're going to love Casandra. It comes with a workbook and a
Mhm.
video, and you're just going to get so much out of it. So thanks for joining us today, Casandra. It's been
Thank you
amazing.
for having me.